Hello, everyone. Welcome to our brand new channel. The football is live. Yeah, now, just to get things off the records, for anybody who doesn't support Newcastle United, yes, I'm a big Newcastle United fan. For people who didn't, but this channel is launching literally today on New Year. And do come along. This is a little bit different to what we do on our other channel, Newcastle Fans TV. There's an open link for anybody to come on to chat about what we discuss with the Premier League, which we'll be doing every few days as well. So do come along. And obviously, you can see the live chat where I've just pinned it there, also there. So if you want to come on, hello, please do. I'm more than happy to have your company. So the idea of starting the channel, first of all, before we kick things off, is that, of course, Newcastle Fans TV already has two channels, and we've acquired this one to make a third one. So obviously we've got Newcastle Fans TV, which follows Newcastle home and away, every single game, up and down the land, men and women's, the only channel on YouTube to do that, following their own club. And then we've got NFTV Extra, which is a spin-off, which you'll see a lot of clips being put on there, or maybe some things that are not fully focused on the men, so some of the women's stuff might get put on there. Occasionally you might see some vlogs and stuff like that from travelling and what have you. But the idea with this one is to talk all about Premier League. Now, not every single Newcastle fan wants to talk about the Premier League, hence the reason why we have launched this as well. So yeah, I hope you're doing all right, everybody. So let's get things cracking. I want to talk a little bit about, first things first, is that VAR and in-stadium announcement trials are going to be used in the Carabao Cup semi-finals for the first time. Now, obviously, the two, Newcastle being in the semi-finals against Arsenal, we'll hear what the referee will say. Now, does it change much? For me, it doesn't, unless the referee gives an explanation. Because we hear already in the stadium that, you know, you'll have a screen. Most Premier League grounds, you can see the screen. At St James's Park, unfortunately, you can't, which is rather annoying. So, but you do hear the announcement saying VAR check for possible offside, VAR check for possible penalty, possible foul, whatever, etc., etc., etc. So you hear all of that. But if the referee's just going to do that, does that make much difference? For me, it doesn't. If the referee comes on and says, I don't know, say if Newcastle won a penalty at Arsenal and Isak got brought down by Gabriel, you might say penalty because Gabriel clearly tripped Isak, penalty in Newcastle. Great, we've got an explanation with it. It's not just penalty check or offside or handball or whatever, you know. Unless there's an actual explanation with that, more than happy with that outcome. It's progress. If it's just the ref announcing, what's the point, man? What is the actual point in that? So there we go. Now, also you might have seen in our today's video, we are also partnered up with NordVPN. Now, obviously, I go up and down the country. I like to just be safe when I'm using public Wi-Fi occasionally. NordVPN, you can get a massive discount this new year through us. The link is in the description for that. It'll keep you protected against the dark web, and also you can trick your location into being somewhere else. So have a look at the link in the description for our partners, NordVPN. So please do go and check that out. So thank you for NordVPN for being on board with us. Now, we're going to get into the screen share facility, and we're going to take a look at predominantly the main talking point in today's video is Trent Alexander-Arnold and several of others who are going to be free agents. Now, of course, that means that they can talk to European clubs as of today, officially. Not behind the club's back, it's the rules that allow it, ready for a move in the summer. They can't talk to English clubs, unless you're getting tapped up, which does happen. But officially, they can't talk to a Real Madrid or a Milan or whoever across Europe. And it's not just Trent Alexander-Arnold that can do it now. There is absolutely several of them. Let's pull it up and we'll go through some of Sky Sports. This is on skysports.com. Obviously, the big three that you can see pictured, of course, there are Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kevin De Bruyne, and Mo Salah, who are, you would say, are the big three. But we'll go through some of the other clubs that are free agents. And would your club actually sign these? So the big one from Arsenal is Jorginho. He's a free agent, 33. And Thomas Partey. So Kieran Tierney, who's had a few injury doubts over the years as well. Aston Villa have got Robin Olsen, Courtney House, not really regulars, so they're not going to lose any sleep over that. Bournemouth don't even have any. Brentford, Ben Mees, 35 now, 2-year deal back in 2022. He's been a mainstay in his first season. Obviously, a lot of injuries. This season's done some punditry work as well. Had his contract extended. That might be one that might get another year. Christian Norgard is another one. They do have an extension that they can activate, and I think that'll probably happen. He is the captain, so I don't see why not. Josh Silva is probably likely to go. The interesting one's James Milner. Of course, he's been around the blocks for so many years now, turning 39 this month. There's no certainty that Brighton will offer him a new deal, but he's got legs. Maybe he's good for someone coming up in the Premier League at the end of the season. Who knows? Joel Vettman, the right back, is another key player, and they want to keep him, of course, so there's no secret. Tariq Lamptey was expected of big things of him, of course, over the summer. Clubs in England, Italy, and Germany explored the conditions to sign him in the summer gone, so we'll keep an eye on that. Jacob Moder and Emery Samuels. The only one from Chelsea is Lucas Bergstrom, the goalkeeper, but obviously Chelsea do like to change their team up so often. Will Hughes, again, he started against Newcastle, so I expect him to sign a new deal. Nathaniel Klein, rather. I think he might be going. Joel Ward will probably go. I know he's Palace's club captain. Jeffrey Schlupp seemed like he's been around for ages, hasn't he? It'll be interesting to see what happens there. But the 32-year-old utility player saw an option in his deal exercised at the end of last season. Obviously, he's only been restricted to substitute appearances this season, so he'll probably go. Remy Matthews, the keeper. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's been linked to several of clubs, including my own, Newcastle as well. Not really a big fan of him personally. Not his first choice, obviously, clearly not, but might do your job if he comes off the bench, but he can talk to European clubs, former England international. Michael Keane, another one, who I don't really rate, to be honest with you. 31-year-old. I don't really rate him, but you might get a 1-year extension. Idrissa Gueye, I can't say his name. Idrissa Gueye, who come back, of course, from France back to Everton, and Everton triggered an option 35-year-old deal last summer and remained a key part of this season as well, featuring most of the games. So you might get another year. Abdoulaye Doucouré, midfielder, signed a 2-year deal in 2023 at the time. Is reported Everton have an option to extend it by a further year. The 32-year-old remains a key player for Everton, having started most of the games. Ash Young turns 40. I think he's playing his son, which is mad, in the FA Cup, I believe. Seamus Coleman, I expect him to go, as of Begovic. Fulham, Tom Kearney. Adama Traore, he'll probably leave, I would have thought. But the deal does have an option of another 12 months, I believe. Raul Jimenez will be a good free agent, I think, for a team that's maybe pushing into Europe or mid-table, maybe wants to go back. But the Fulham's contract expires at the end of this season, but he told Sky Sports that he's hoping that the club will trigger a 1-year extension clause. So Raul Jimenez is probably going to stay. He says, I'm happy here in Fulham. I'm happy in London. It's a really good city. It's a really good club that I like. If it's activated, I'll be really happy. Kenny Tete, I expect him to go. Carlos Vinicius as well. Ipswich, Axel Twanzebe, former Man United defender. I can't see him staying on. Massimo Luongo, Cameron Burgess, Luke Wolfwinden. Again, that depends what league they're in as well. The one or two might stay. Interesting one in Jamie Vardy. Is he going to call it a day if Leicester stay up or Leicester go down when they want his goals? I think Danny Ward will leave the club. Don't rate him. And Daniel Levy, another goalkeeper as well. He's back up. Liverpool one are the big three, of course. Virgil van Dijk. So Virgil van Dijk, 33. There's no deadline over talks, but you can start talking. And if the key thing is, if Liverpool lose, two of those three, they're obviously going to be severely weakened. The one that they have to keep for me is Mo Salah. They've got to keep Salah because he is just, look at his stats this season. They're incredible, man. Unbelievable. What a player. He's the best player that I've seen in my 30-odd year following football. So, but they've got to keep Salah. Van Dijk, Trent looks like he's off to Real Madrid. We'll come back to that in a moment. But Salah's given the money. You've got to pay it, man. You've got to. Gundogan, which I thought was strange coming back, to be honest with you. Kevin De Bruyne, who hasn't really featured lately, so possibly move. Scott Carson, maybe he'll just sign for another year, just to tick a box, basically, homegrown player. Man United have several problems. Amad Diallo, which is a surprising one, but the club do have an extension. They will activate that. There's no doubt about that with Diallo. Harry Maguire, I expect it would probably. I know I said positive talks there, but I probably expect him to leave the club. Johnny Evans is the same. Ericsson the same. Lindelof the same. Heaton the same. My club. Callum Wilson, I expect to go. Fabian Schär, expect him to stay another year. Longstaff, I think his deal has been extended by the club, but it hasn't been made official as of yet. I think Lascelles will go, Dubravka will go, Kraft will stay for another year, John Ruddy, Mark Gillespie, one of those two will go. Forest, Chris Wood. Did you know that Chris Wood's a free agent at the end of the season? Look how red hot form he's in. 11 goals in 19 games. Incredible. But the Athletic do report that Forest are in talks being held for an extension. They have to get him. He was a squad player at Newcastle, but since he left us and went to Forest, he's been banging the goals. If Forest will lose him, man, they'll fall down the table. Ola Aina, I think expect him to stay. Willie Bowley, I'm not so keen on that. But I don't think he'll get used. Hasn't been used. Sorry, I think he will go. Harry Toffolo is another one. Southampton again, depending on what division Southampton are in. Looks like they're going to go in the Championship. So the likes of Kyle Walker-Peters, you might stay. You might get a Premier League club. Lallana, if Southampton go down, I think he'll stay. Joe Lumley, I think he will go. Spurs, Heung-min Son, another big one, but they do have the option of extended by another year, which I fully expect that to happen. Fraser Forster, I expect him to leave. Ben Davis, I'm not sure on that 50-50. But Aaron Creswell from West Ham, Mikel Antonio, obviously he's had a serious road traffic injury with his car crash, but he might get a deal. Depends how which manager West Ham have, don't they? Obviously Vladimir Kufal, Danny Ings, Fabianski, some of them will go. Wolves again, depending on the division they're in. Paulo Sarabia, Craig Dawson, Mario Lemina, Nelson Semedo, 2 or 3 of them are likely to probably stay and leave the club. But that is your list. That is your list indeed of all the clubs who have their free agents come at the end of the summer. And of course, the big one, without a shadow of a doubt, is of course Trent Alexander-Arnold. Of course it is. So with Trent, he's a free agent. He's a lot of speculation. Of course, we will take a look at the speculation in a moment, but Liverpool are going to lose him to Real Madrid. I think it's going to happen. I do. Talented player. Obviously can play right back. Defensively, he has been caught out a couple of times. Don't get me wrong, but he's quality going forward. He's the most probably modern to Beckham with the way he passes. He can split defenders. Delivery's unreal. Crossing's unreal. He's just a fantastic footballer. And Real Madrid obviously have injury crisis at right back, of course. They're playing midfielders in defence currently at the minute as well. So I know there's obviously speculation that Real Madrid might come in and try and give Liverpool some money to get him early, but I don't see the logic in that when you know that you can have him towards the end of the season. So I don't really get that, to be honest with you. I think they'll get him at the end of the season, and it obviously follows the likes of, if you're old enough to remember, Steve McManaman, or if you're old enough to remember the likes of Michael Owen going there. But obviously that was for a fee, wasn't it? It was quite a small fee. I think it was something like 8 million, if I'm not mistaken, when Michael Owen went to Real Madrid. And then obviously it was more than double to bring him back to Newcastle. But yeah, obviously they've got to keep Mo Salah. That's the big one, of course. And Van Dijk, out of those 3, you've got to keep Salah. Looks like Trent Alexander-Arnold's on his way. There's a couple of big names in that list as well. You can see all of them on Sky Sports as well. But yeah, we're going to have a little look at all the transfer gossip today for you. We'll have a little spy. We'll go across now to the BBC and have a little look what's going on with the football gossip today. Obviously, as I mentioned, Trent Alexander-Arnold there, another one. More speculation here. So obviously, Joshua Zirkzee, and that's coming from the Mail, is that this club's looking at him going back to Italy. He's had a disastrous spell. He was substituted the other night when I was at Old Trafford, getting booed and all that. That's tough. It's really tough on a player's mental state, never mind for footballing ability. Of course, Man United have no budget to reinforce the squad in January. They'll have to sell first because of obviously the financial fair play rules are kicking in and PSR and whatever and all of that. And yeah, and obviously we've talked about Liverpool and the constant talk with Alexander Isak, man. Give it a rest, man, with Arsenal. Oh, I'm sick of hearing about it. Constantly being linked to Arsenal. If Arsenal want Alexander Isak, they've got to pay a stupid amount of money. Of course they have to get him. And then you're talking at least 150 million. At least people are going to laugh at that. But we're going to lose our top scorer who scores goals for fun. For us to replace him, how much is that going to cost us as a club? Exactly. He guarantees your goals. He absolutely guarantees your goals. So there's loads of speculation here. You can have a little read of that as I'm waffling on as well. If you are brand new to the channel, please drop us a like. If you come over from Newcastle Fans TV, again, hit that subscribe and like. We're going to grow this channel as well. And it's every single video that we do on this channel There'll be a link for anybody to join. Obviously, with it being early doors, we're not expecting many to come on the first couple of shows naturally, but as we build an audience, of course, we're hoping more to come on. Let's take a look around the league in Europe in a little bit as well. So Stoke have appointed. No, I don't want to sign in. Stoke have appointed Mark Robbins. I think that's a good appointment for Stoke. Obviously, Stoke have been hovering around mid-table in the Championship for a few years now, and they've gone through quite a few managers, and I think he was really harshly sacked by Coventry. I think that's a great appointment for Stoke. Expect things maybe next season to develop with Stoke. I think this season probably not, but that is a fantastic appointment for Coventry. Again, more on Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's everywhere you look. Obviously, BBC are running on the challenges that Thomas Tuchel have got with England. What to look out for in the WSL if you want to have a look at that. Obviously, we've heavily pushed Newcastle United women, of course, over with the lasses that we follow. And then if we just scroll down to have a look at a couple of news as well. Manchester City with the WSL signing players. Obviously, they're trying to fight Arsenal and Chelsea. Well, Chelsea are flying the WSL, aren't they? And also, Cunha has been banned for 2 games after that scuffle. Wonderful talent. Another one who's been linked away with the end of the match with it. Was Ipswich, I think it was Ipswich, if I'm not mistaken. Wolves versus Ipswich, and a bit of because I think Liam Delap missed our game because of it as well. So he's been banned for 2 games and also fined 80 grand. Ouch. I mean, it's probably pennies for these lot. Do you know what I mean? In European football as well, I've seen Dani Almo's not allowed to play for Barcelona because of the financial restrictions and stuff like that. So we'll just have a look and see if any other news is actually coming out today, since we are talking about all the football news today. So already, look at that, Gateshead just around the corner from here. There's transfers happening up and down the land, and it's only day one as well. I've got a little bit of a Newcastle as well. Miguel Miron has been linked heavily the last 24 hours or so, but you can see all of this. So there we go. So that is your little bit of wrap up. We're going to do this every day. Obviously, we do expect it to get to build our audience on this new channel as well. So, and big thank you to our partners NordVPN as well. But there we go. That was 17 minutes. So I hope you've enjoyed that little bit of a chat. Do subscribe. We'll be doing regular videos 2 or 3 a week on this channel, lives, getting you all involved. But for me, take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.